So, you played through the 4.0 Archon quest, and you're wondering what on earth just happened? Well, wonder no more. Potential spoilers for 4.0 content, because we will be discussing Fontaine, as well as the 4.0 Archon quest. So if you're not caught up with the story, or, if you mind spoilers, then do come back to the video once you played through Fontaine. Fontaine, the illustrious nation of justice, has left us with more questions than answers so far, like, what is the Hydro Archon's true secret? And, what actually is the Oratrice? Well, here are the answers. Hello, travelers. Today, I'm gonna share with y'all some theories, as to what I think is actually happening in Fontaine. What the Hydro Archon is hiding. I believe the Hydro Archon isn't actually who she says she is, or to be exact, she isn't the only Archon in Fontaine. What do I mean by that? Well, firstly, let's look at some things that makes her seem a little suspicious. She has no idea why the Oratrice malfunctioned at the end of the Archon quest, though Nouvelette thinks she is more knowledgeable about the Oratrice as compared to himself, or anyone in fact.
You should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either!
Taking into account that she is the one that made the Oratrice. Also, she cares not for true justice. But what matters to her is that people look up to her, as she is the mascot for justice. And that the cases in the courtroom are entertaining for people. Well, what truly draws my suspicions is this.
So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer?
I don't believe that the person crying in this clip is the same person whom we met in the courtroom. Then who do I think she is? Well, we'll get back to that, but before that. Okay, hear me out, but what if the Furina we met was not the actual Hydro Archon? I'm saying this because it isn't the first time in Genshin where we've met a puppet posing as the actual Archon. In Inazuma we met A's puppet, whom she made to rule over Inazuma on her behalf. Now my theory is that the actual Hydro Archon is hidden inside the
Oratrice.
Well, if we listen to that clip again.
So lonely. Just how much longer?
If we take it in a literal sense, being lonely, it would only make sense if she is stuck alone inside the Oratrice, forced to use the Hydronosis to determine the verdict of the court cases. Well, if that's the case, then who is the Furina that we met? Well, I have a few ideas in mind. First and least likely is that she is an actor of some sort, put in place to act as a mascot. This could explain why she seems to know less about the Oratrice than led to believe. My second theory is that she is the twin of the Hydro Archon. Much like A, she was put in place to represent justice, while her sister, the Hydro Archon, is stuck in the Oratrice, making decisions as to who is guilty. This could also explain why Nouvelette, who is speculated to be the Hydro Dragon, cries every time there is a court case, referring to Freminet's line about the Hydro Dragon. Nouvelette cries in guilt for the Hydro Archon, who's stuck in the Oratrice, knowing what she's going through. I believe Arlecchino is actually secretly pulling all the strings. She seems to be quite manipulative, which is why I think she was the person that caused Child to be arrested. As for why, do drop comments as to what y'all think. My best guess is for some sort of distraction, or to make people lose hope in justice, therefore causing an energy crisis in Fontaine. I think she made Lenny sneak into the Oratrice to tamper with it. And, considering that the Oratrice might be the Hydro Archon, I wouldn't be surprised if Arlecchino promised her freedom from the Oratrice in exchange for the Gnosis. Well, knowing all that, here's a few theories I have as to what her kit actually is. Remember, this is just speculation. I think she'd have two forms. Maybe a skill that lets her switch forms, think like Child, or a tap or hold type or skill, sorta like Shenner, which would change her skill, one of her forms representing the twin, the other representing Furina herself, and it would only make sense if one form was Usha, and the other Numa aligned. I think most of her damage could come from her skill. as the new craftable weapon has a passive, where using an elemental skill buffs the character's attack. Also, considering most, if not all of the Archons that have been released so far have been more of a supportive type of characters, rather than a main DPS. I believe she would be as well, potentially having a healing form, and a buffing form which drains her, or her party members' HP to buff either her, or her party members. This would make sense, as Fontaine's theme so far has been HP manipulation. This would be insane due to most of Fontaine's weapons and artifacts having a mechanic that give buffs when HP is manipulated, causing them to be niche. So if Furina can manipulate the party member's HP, you can take advantage of the craftable weapons, or the new crit rate artifact with most characters. Or she could even have a skill, like Cook Ishinobu, where she sacrifices some HP for buffs or healing. Do keep in mind that these are just theories and speculation as far as I know. The story could be totally different. We will just have to find out in the upcoming patches. I can't wait. Do remember to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and best of luck for all your pulls.